Now it's time to just take it apart carefully. And we're going to work our way through a lot of different bits and pieces. First thing I'd probably suggest that we start with is the accelerator pump. We're not going to take it down to every nut and bolt. There's no need for that. We just want to get it to where we can clean it and replace the wear parts. Most importantly is going to be this one. In fact, I'm not even going to have you take the pump rod from the last time we talked. This is the accelerator pump rod, and see, that's doing that. Notice this arm is really not moving much. But we know the cover plate's good, so I'm going to have you take these screws off. Take the 4 corner ones first, and these 2 middle ones are longer. And then we're going to keep them in there. And this is also where that spring that decided to take a run for it. So, but we're ready for it this time. Now the other thing is set them in there because, oh, okay, so those are long ones, the other ones are short ones. That's fine. After you get that one out, let's go ahead and do the 2 middle ones. I had them backwards there. Those are only anchoring from the valve body and the top. The other ones hold the valve body all the way on. Are they actually sticking? Oh! Okay, Solex. Those are either CAD plated or copper or brass plated. I was worried they were brass screws, which would mean they'd run away from you if they fell.
Now the edge, the corners?
Yeah. So folks, for those of you that are watching the video, we're pulling the accelerator pump top plate off. This is the part where an arm actuates the accelerator pump to pour gas down the carburetor when you press the throttle pedal down. It's an atmospheric part rather than other parts that are in the fuel or the in the vacuum. So we've got 3 different air levels: atmosphere, vacuum, and then the fuel bowl has liquid fuel. And Autumn is right now just taking that cover plate off, and I'm acting as a human vice. And a shout out to Riley at Riley Rebuilds. Riley, if you see this, this is what we were talking about online the other day. Welcome to a single barrel Solex. All right, now take the screwdriver backwards. Hold the shaft and use this like a hammer. And oh, never. Well, that was anticlimactic. Normally you have to get these to come loose. Now we're still going to get this apart, but we're going to take the spring, put the spring in here. Now tap the side of that. We want to pop the gasket for a little harder. And come the other way. Yeah.
No.
Here we're going to pretty good smack, and that is the base. And in here
is the other spring we lost.
This, folks, is the Mystic spring and check valve that went flying. We're not going to take it apart right here. We will later, but under controlled circumstances. All right, so you got the fingernail. See if you can ease that off all the way around. Just kind of peel. All right, and then here's the diaphragm. And we can take the diaphragm off.
Don't take that screw off?
Nope. That is going to be a replacement part. And folks, just for everybody's education, this is a check valve. We talked about that on the last show. And boy, it is sticky. This is the actual diaphragm that pumps the fuel. And it doesn't want to move. It is hard as a rock. Wow. Yeah. So we'll compare and contrast when we get to the parts out. All right. Now, where did I put the fuel catch thingy? Oh, it's over there. Turkey baster. Yeah, and all we're going to do is, that won't be the first and last time. Set just became an official no smoking zone. All right, so now we're going to continue the disassembly. This should, okay, I'm not sure how that's clipped in there. We'll just let that float for the time being. Actually, I'll tell you what we're going to do. go ahead and take that off. I will hold this. You can either pick a wrench or you can use the crescent, whichever you want. I think you had the right idea the first time. There you go. Go ahead, keep going, see if it'll go. No, it didn't, you haven't broken it free yet. Nope, okay. Let's try it this way. Start with a half. And then that gets the arm out of the way. What I'm going to do with this is we're going to put this back on so that we know where it goes and we don't lose the washers and don't have a bunch of little itty parts that we don't know where they go. Is that right? Now that makes it a little bit easier. Go ahead and let's take the air horn off. Now there's 3 screws that hold the air horn on, and one of them is a booger. And we're going to see if we can find, well, you're starting with the screws there. Do we have the right size? Yep. Okay, yep. Slide that back on there so we know that's where it goes. Probably have to use that to start that one. And remember, you're upside down, so to loosen it. Yep, you got it. Pulling it to you. All right, just for grins, see if that comes off at all. Yep. All right. So I know we talked about this before, but that's going to be in the kit too, I believe. That is the float valve that closes off the fuel flow when the carburetor's full. So we'll make sure of the parts. Now, very gently lift up that arm. The float's not going to come with it, just the arm, and lift it straight up now. There you go. Put that in the tray. This is an interesting float, folks. It's a free floating float. It's not anchored to the pivot at all. It just sits in a trough. Now, is there fuel in it? Nope, it looks like it drained itself dry. All right, see if you can pick the float up. It's got 2 little wings there. And just pull it straight up and set it. Yep. All right, now we're going to continue. See if you can get the accelerator pump fitting off.
That little screw?
Yep. And we're not replacing this, but we are cleaning. We're going to run carb clean. Hey, look at that. All right. And this should lift straight out. And what we want to do is, that was this one, right?
Oh, yes.
They're slightly different. So we're going to put this, and there was a gasket under here as well. So we'll leave that gasket on there, and when we go for the rebuild, in fact, that gasket's torn. I don't know if you guys can see that on camera. Can you see that? Mm-hmm. That may be part of the problem with some of the behaviors of the carburetor. Now that's your main jet. Let's go ahead and see if it'll come out without too much of a fight. No, you're going to have to put a screwdriver on it and center it on the slot as best we can. Okay, see if it'll come off.
Am I turning?
Let's see there. Yes, it did. I do not want to distort it, but see the size, it's a calibrated hole, and that is a brass part. But now we can get down in there. Same thing here with the secondary idle jet. I'm pushing down very hard on the brass as I turn to make sure it turns without jamming out, which is, you know, would be damaging that screw. All right. Now, this is the equivalent of the choke body. And I'll be honest with you, this is new to me. I haven't played a Solex with this kind of a system. So let's go ahead and take that cover off. screws, just like the accelerator pump. And we'll set those over on this side. They're fully threaded versus the other ones on the accelerator pump are partially threaded, just keeping them straight. Does that make it any easier if I turn it over?
Just a quick picture.
Okay. Okay, so that's just a little valve assembly that meters air, I'm gonna guess. It doesn't look like fuel. And we'll take that apart later if we need to. I'm a little concerned about how worn it is. But, all right, we have another jet here. Now, see, this one's gonna be a little bit of a problem. I'll try a one-sided turn. Oh, good, it came free. Yep, that's the enrichment area. That's what it is. This little valve right here, I can see through there, picks up. This has an air passage. There's a metering valve that's all gummed up. And then this little valve goes between two passages in the output. And we'll have to see how all that works. Now, since I don't, at this point, I'm not going to touch the idle and the air jet mixture screws, folks, because I don't know enough about these carburetors to mess up the settings. But we are going to take out some plugs so that we can get into the passageways to make sure they're clean. And we're going to play tool shuffleboard. All right, you're going to push it to me while I pull it down. Gotcha. Now, as you get near the end of that, if it feels like it's draggy like it is, keep a finger on top of it. If there's a spring behind there, you don't want it to go shooting across. You know, if they're coming out freely, you kind of know, but that is a filter screen. That's why it was fighting you. It's not bad, but it's gonna needs a little bit of a clean. So that's a neat little thing. All right, let's go with the larger one now. Nope, yeah.
Spring or clean screen?
Maybe neither. That's another jet.
Oh.
And I'm very glad we took that apart. You know why?
What?
I cannot see light through it. I can see light through the cross hole, but I cannot see light through the end of the orifice.
This one too?
Yes. So we will take a moment and pull that jet out. I'm going to keep that jet separate.
Yeah, because this one's a different size as well. This one.
I don't know how we've been so blessed that everything's coming apart. Okay, it's open now. Oh! Scott, I don't know if you can see that, but that right there at the end of the screwdriver, that little chunk is what was in there blocking that orifice. So already we're finding good reason to have these taken apart. But we do want to keep that to make sure we know that that jet goes in there. Although I think they're all different sizes. Trying to decide, yeah, it's been locked in, so we're not going to take the throttle plate out. The idle jet is horizontal, so let's see, there's 1, 2 and 3/4 is seated. Do you guys remember that? You
Writing it
remember
down.
that? Let us know. So now we're going to pull the mixture screw out, idle mixture, because that is one of the areas. Now that little needle goes into a cone-shaped seat. So it goes in and it seats, and if it's blocked, and then the amount you open that space is how much fuel flow can get through.
2 3/4 mixture screws heated. That's what you want to say, Brad.
Yeah, yep, 2 3/4 from stop.
From stop.
Okay.